Action. All right, so San Felipe, here we come. We started putting it all together. It's like, it's like getting caught in an avalanche when you decide to go to a big race like this. It's just all of a sudden things start moving. And, of course, we're, as we've said, we're a very small team. We got to make it work, right? I'm like, well, we got a few trucks here, pickup trucks, and people that are, passionate about what we're doing and excited to help out. And that makes it happen. And so I started heading south a couple weeks before the race. I wanted to actually get down a pre-run, which that has not been something I've been able to do on most races, just really a time issue. So drove to Phoenix and went straight to Geiser Bros, and there's the truck, and that's always when the first step, you get excited. You're like, there it is, and it's ready, and that's exciting. You're like, okay, so you jump in and start going through all the details. Fit of the seat, fit of the gas pedal, steering wheel, where everything's at. Going through kind of your checklist with the team and making sure comms, radios, hydration, everything, suspension setup. I mean, there's the logistics just start to, really stack. Picked up a new trailer where we're going to use to camp in, and it could carry the race truck. And so picked that up, got that staged. So everything checked out, and the excitement starts to build. It's like, okay, this is happening. Here we go, Mexico. Got through the border, no problem.
Going through Mexico.
You start seeing Mexicali, and as soon as you break out of Mexicali and you start to see the open desert, and you start to see, where the course is going to be. And, the excitement really starts to build. Turns out I got an old buddy that has a house in San Felipe that I hadn't seen in 20 years. And so I connected with him on social media, and I'm like, dude, you got a room for me and a few of us to crash at your place, And he's like, I wouldn't have it any other way. And so it was awesome. They took great care of us.
We got Twistifer Coin. He's out of Lake Skinny Atlas.
All right, I've got 280 some miles of course I got to go start figuring out. So we jumped in the Razor. we found the maps and got it downloaded, and I'm like, I just gotta start driving this. We start checking out different lines, and we put a lot of time in out there, and it's something. And you get out on the course, you know, after 30 minutes, an hour, you know, at the speed you're running, you're all by yourself. You know, there's other trucks out there, but it's you against the desert in your truck. And when you're pre-running, pack a cooler and a sat phone and extra tires and some tools, because you're really by yourself out there, especially a week before. You know, the reality of that setting in. We're realizing, man, this is remote. You see sand washes, you see whooped out sections, you see lake beds. You know, the lake bed at this race was 25, almost 30 miles, straight, wide open lake bed. You know, that's ominous as well. You know, so we get through that, and then we find silt. Driving the Razor through silt, I learned that silt is not unlike 2 feet of powder snow. So keeping your tires hooked up and moving forward is you know, a technique. After probably 3 or 4 days of pre-run, we got there early. Then, you know, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning, the week before the race, all of a sudden, the big teams start showing up. The pre-runners that are, you know, quite frankly, a lot more expensive than my race truck are showing up. And the pre-runners have helicopters. And I'm like, I'm getting in this truck. I'm gonna do some pre-running in this truck. I just, you know, it's not what all the big teams do, but I've gotta put some miles on the truck, make sure everything's working, make sure our suspension's gonna handle it. And that's all I got. So here we go. Saturday, we unload the truck. We get the maps loaded up. Monsignor and I get in there.
Rick, what did you go do with my truck? Woo.
Ray had called me and he said, Tracy said this motor went together very well. And the engine dyno results and the chassis tune, this thing's putting out 100 horsepower more than it did last time. We're rolling through town, you know, because you're driving through San Felipe. I can tell. I can instantly tell this motor is strong.
God, this feels good. Yeah, it does.
We head to the start, and we're lighting it up, and we leave town and head straight, you know, straight out the course, and we get to Zoo Road, and we start pounding through Zoo Road. My notes are saying we should be doing 80, 90, 100 and some of these sections, and I'm 20 miles an hour slower than that, and I'm not feeling, you know, good right now. I'm like, this is intense. Like, okay, I got to make some adjustments. We got to figure this out. Trophy truck suspension is some of the most sophisticated on the planet. So it's not like it's not like one of my dirt bikes or snowmobiles or something where you can just get in there and, you know, tweak a clicker and be like, oh, that felt pretty good. But no, there's a lot more to it than that. So we loop back. RJ Stidham shows up, RJ Stidham Motorsports. He shows up and he's here to help us out. And RJ's very good with suspension setup. He's very good with trophy truck setup and everything else. And I'm like, buddy, grab your helmet, your suit, get in the truck. We got some work to do. We talked about some adjustments. We made some adjustments in the front suspension. And we go back out there and we start talking. I'm like, I just want you to feel this truck, feel this, feel what's going on. This is as rough a section as I've been through at high speed. And that was awesome because he's had a lot of experience co-driving. He's had a lot of experience driving himself. We just kept pushing and pushing, and all of a sudden that truck started to feel a lot better. It felt great. A pile of nerves stepped out because I was like, okay, I know I can rip this section and I know this truck's ready to go. I've got this course all figured out in my mind and I'm feeling pretty good about it, and we're like, okay, qualifying. We get out there, and of course, there's an absolute beehive of helicopters around the qualifying lap, and the trucks are lined up all the way down the road. And we registered like damn near last, so we were way down the list. Do our sight lap and realize our truck's pretty loaded up, so we got it cleaned out on that lap and got it running good. And okay, here we go. It's starting to get close to our time to start. We get to like second or third in line, and helmets on, we're getting all locked down and strapped in and everything else, and plug the comms in. And I'm like, check, you got comms? And he's like, I look over, I'm like, check, nothing.
I heard nothing. I could hear him. All I could hear him say was, "Are you talking?"
Nothing. Fuck. What the fuck?
We were plugging and unplugging and taking helmets off and moving helmets.
Fuck.
Anything I can do?
We're fucked. No audio.
It's gone?
Nothing.
And it just pissed me off. I was so mad. I'm like, you're just gonna have to give me hand signals. We may end up upside down out here. I don't know. And we're flying around, we're hitting trees, we're hitting brush, and we gave it our best. And you can see Hunsinger's hands, like he's trying to get in front of me.
We had a couple moments there where I was a little nervous. There was one time that I really thought we were gonna go in the tree there. Trying to reach far enough over so he can see me in his Hans device, because he can barely turn his head as it is, was hard. Because I didn't want to get too far into his way and start messing with the shifting or his brakes or anything like that, but I still wanted to be able to see my hands.
We got through it. We got through it decent. I mean, I think we were, of the two-wheel drive trucks, I think we were probably second or third.
No comms, dude. We gave her the fucking beans through there. We were out of shape everywhere.
Nice.
I can tell you this, what they showed on there, you looked really smooth. I didn't
we
see
have
any
no comms.
When we qualified, you know, a few hundredths of a second behind Cameron Steele, and I know he's a hell of a driver. So I'm like, all right. Tech and contingency. We get the message, you should go down there the night before, have somebody sleep in the truck. I'm like, we're not doing it. Talk to Hunsinger, he's like, I'll get up at 5. I'll go down there and we'll get in line. And I text Hunsinger, I'm like, are you in line down there? He's like, yeah, we're probably 30 or 40th in line. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, no, he goes, it's a mob of people. San Felipe, here we are. They told us, get a bunch of stickers. You know, stickers is a big deal down there. So we got like 500 stickers made up. And turns out you know, a lot of people really like the graphics and stuff on the truck. You know, that's exciting and that's fun. You know, the locals love the event. You know, they just really embrace it, and that part is awesome. It just brings it all kind of together to go down there and be just so well received. You know, we got through tech, flying colors, no problems, everything checked out great. And now it's time to, you know, get some food, get some rest, and start thinking about the big day. So, race day. I'm wide awake hours before I should be, ready to get loaded up. You know, you get the nerves, the timing, how early do we go down, how early do we stage. Of course, I'm always early on that because I just, I would rather wait. We get down there, we get on the main drag, we get lined up. We still probably have 30 minutes to start, but I get in the truck and I get my seatbelt on, I get my helmet on, I get everything on it. It's all, the whole 300 miles are going through my head, every bit of this course. We get up in the starting line and they give us the green light and we take off. And you get a nice little shot where you get to, light it up for the fans, and then you're back to a speed zone. And so we go through the whole speed zone, and we get to the desert, or the sand part of it. Truck's feeling great. We're hauling ass, but I'm like, Hunsinger, turn the radio down. All I hear is that dude in big block screaming in my ears.
my ears. Okay, keep going. All I hear is truck. That's all I hear too.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna get deaf.
It was so loud. So there was something wrong with our comms, causing the intercoms to just pick up engine noise. Nothing but engine noise.
The thought of stopping and trying to figure this out was crossing my mind.
Hey, stay right.
I just remember thinking, I'm gonna have no voice the next morning. Like, I'm screwed.
Yeah, this is awful. And finally, I'm just like, well, I might be deaf after this race, but you know, we're here. So we're just flying. But the first thing I noticed is there's locals everywhere. Early on, there's somebody in a pickup truck, and it looks like he's going to drive out on the course. It just adds a lot of intensity. And then we break out onto Zoo Road, and I'm like, all right, my Geiser Brothers big block Dougan truck is ready for this. For anybody racing a trophy truck to go to San Felipe and run Zoo Road, it's something else.
The Mexico races are just something else entirely.
Until you're doing it, it's hard to explain. You're going by those power lines, and there's people hanging. They're climbed all the way up the power lines, and they're hanging out there. And then there's people that run out in the course, and they stand in the course like daredevils. They stand there and they film you just coming at them, and then they dive out of the way. And at first I'm letting up. I'm like, they're not going to make it. After a while, you get a little cynical about it. I didn't want to run anybody over, but you're just like flying, right? When you crest 80 miles an hour on your way to 100 and you're going through the really rough section, the impact on your body is intense. By the time you turn off a Zoo Road, your chest and your guts and everything are very sore. It's painful. We're doing 100 plus miles an hour, and I felt like I took it out. It's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. We drop down in the speed zone, take a breath, 37 miles an hour. We held great pace. We were fast. Now, let's keep our tires full of air, let's keep them underneath us, and let's run. Running hard, we're charging, and I can already start to see dust from other trucks. We get a power line run off to the right that we thought was pretty fast, and we're charging hard through that. And out of nowhere, this car pulls right out in the course.
Get the fuck out of the way!
That's Mexico. That's Mexico racing. That's just part of what you got to deal with. We get some of our good lines. We're real happy with them. We're flowing really well. We're going fast. And we all of a sudden now we're in thick dust, heavy dust. I'm like, okay, we got some, but I know we're getting to a rockier section where we'll be able to get eyes on them and get out of this dust. And I don't remember the truck number, but we catch them just as we drop into this sand wash section that's pretty tight. We go by the BCP, and I've got a couple ideas on lines that I remember, but there isn't very many options to pass. And they were well aware we were on them, and they were making a lot of dust, and so we had to eat dust, and it cost us a little bit of time. We ate some dust, we worked hard, I knew the one spot I was gonna have a couple of just fair lines and I was gonna let that Dugan big block, I was gonna let her eat out there. We broke out into the open. They took the high line, which is what I was hoping they were gonna do. We dropped down on the low line, which I actually hadn't pre-run, but one of us is gonna get there. You know, it was almost a game of chicken, but we edged them out just enough and got ahead of them. We hammered on through. Rick radios me. He's like, "You guys are looking really good. Just keep doing what you're doing." And I was like, that felt great. It just felt great to hear Rick say that over the radio. Part where you're just getting that giddy feeling of why you do this, you know? It's just so fun. So we come flying into this dust, and I can see Hunsinger's not happy with where we are, and so he's like, "You gotta go left." He's screaming at me. But that other truck came through and stirred up so much dust and the wind. And so, you know, if we'd have charged into that, we'd have murdered people in there. It would have been awful. And so we kind of, you know, grind through there, find the VCP, and we're back on course, and we get a little break, we can see, and then it's wide open. So I'm just like straight to third gear, flat-footed, and off we go. Now we got clean air, we're on the lake bed, we've got, you know, we know what we're gonna do. At the end of the lake bed, so score changed the route through the silt the night before the race. And so we had talked to some guys that were able to get out and pre-run it. They gave us some good line, and man, we flew through that. We had no problem. No, it was awesome. It was really awesome. We're just lit. And then we're going, but I'm like, "Hunsinger, can you feel that?" And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Either the engine's missing or something's vibrating." Something's not. And I'm like, it's getting worse. I'm like, "Hunsinger, do you feel that?" He's like, "I feel it. I feel it now." We keep going, and we were in radio contact. So I'm like, "We got a vibration." Radio read mile marker 160. We got a vibration. It's getting worse. And they're like, "Roger that. You know, we're halfway down the pit on the left." People everywhere, and you're flying through this, you know, and you're trying to find your pit, and we see him, we come diving into the pit. Chris runs up to me and says, "I just clocked you." He says, you're a little less than 3 minutes behind Cameron's." Rick dove under the truck, took a quick look at the drive line, said everything was fine, and go, go, go. We take off, we roll out of there, and I'm like, no fucking power steering.
I lost steering. You lost steering? Yep.
Geiser pits. no power steering.
Don't go down the track backwards. Come back to the pit.
So we loop back around, drive that truck back into the pit, and stop. And they rip the hood off and they dive right into it. And we're going through the Motec. Motec is showing 0 pressure. So they start troubleshooting. And I'm just like sitting there going, this cannot be real. It just can't be real. What? How everything fine, pull in the pit, you know? And so I'm like, Rick, there was a vibration. Is it, did we lose a belt? You know, what's going on? And he's like, you got no pressure out of the pump. We're gonna replace it. We've done this before. We can replace a pump at any point. And I told Rick, I said, that vibration was very real. I think it was the drive line. Sure enough, they swapped the drive line and it was coming out. They got that swapped out, and I'm just sitting in the truck watching trucks go by. If you've been in that spot, there is very few worse feelings that you can have, is just watching these guys. So they came up with a plan on the spot. I'll give them huge credit for this. They came up with a plan and they figured out how to bypass the bypass, and you know, they put it all together. But all in all, I think we were well over an hour sitting, and at the San Felipe, 250 an hour is an eternity. You know, the ultimate real, you know, kick in the guts is the spec trucks are starting to roll through. We're halfway through this race, and we get back in the truck. Rick's like, fire it up. The steering wheel feels great. We got pressure. The Motec says 0, and he's like, that's because we bypassed it. He's like, you got a new drive line, fresh tires, and fuel. He's like, go. And we took off. And you know, now is the you know, the saying, don't drive angry. Oh, I wanted to drive angry. I really was wanting to drive angry, but we're going into the roughest rocky section. Very technical, difficult section. You know, it's amazing. So we get out of those pits and I step on it, and that Dugan big block starts barking. I click second gear, I click third, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I don't give a shit, this is so much fun. My whole mind just went to happy again. And we just started hauling ass. And then, you know, and then you start catching trucks. You know, you start catching spec trucks because we got them by, you know, we're 600 horsepower more than what they're running, right? So we start catching these guys. Passing trucks and you're having a great time, you know, in the rocky section. Oh, man. And we did great. You know, we flowed through that. We get to some faster sections, you know, and there's some sand washy sections, and we get to where we're passing a class 1, and I'm doing 100, and my Motec says I'm in first gear. I think we lost our actuator on our shifter because it says I'm in first gear, but we're clearly in third. All right, that's a minor setback, but we're stuck in third. So, you know, I remember this section of the course, I'm like, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. You know, we won't be rocket ships coming out of some of the corners, but these trucks will do it. We get to that last little, it's not really a silt bed section, but it's turning into it. We come flying around the corner, and there's people, you know, raising hell with their arms and everything else, and I'm like, they're cheering us on, right? No, they were trying to tell us something. And all of a sudden, here's this Jeep Cherokee stuck in the silt bed. And we're in ruts this deep in silt where in a trophy truck, you can't stop, not a 200 truck. And they're all like, back up, back up, back up. And I'm like, I'm like, you have no idea how bad I would love to back up right now. I'm trying to explain to them that I don't have reverse, let alone first gear or second gear. They're yelling at me in Spanish, I'm yelling at them in English, so nobody knows what anybody's saying. So I cut the wheel as hard as I can. I try to, third gear it up out of the rut, and all we do is just push the tires and sink. And now we're stuck. So I'm like, Hunsinger, we gotta put the track mats down. These guys come running over with a white Toyota. They pull the Cherokee out of our way, and they get them out. They busted the tow strap doing it. We get the jacks down. Hunsinger gets the mats under the tires. We start to get the jacks up. The Toyota pulls up, and he's like, I'm like, hook up, buddy, let's go. And he throws a rope on us, and all of a sudden we start moving. And they're trying to tell me, go slow with the tires. I'm like, dude, third gear, 1,100 horsepower, there's no slow. I went back and looked at the clock, and that was 37 minutes, that whole, I'm like, let's get her in, and so we take off and we charge hard, and it's a super fun part of the course. That last 20 miles is a blast. You catch a Legends unlimited truck, and I was as gentle as possible, but we caught them and we were going pretty fast, and I gave them just a little touch. Hey, we're back here, guys, and they were great. They pulled over, and we just hammered it home. Wind's blowing and the dust, and we're right in it. But that last mile is something. I miss a call, and we just go flying. And the truck just soaked it up, and we get straightened out again, and I'm like, Jesus, Trace, this would be perfect, to be upside down about, a mile from the finish line. You get to the finish line and you cross the timing. So it's a great feeling, You finish San Felipe, and the people, they're so happy and they're so excited, and they're just like, you want to get out and just give them all a hug. They're cheering you on, and they know that we're 2 hours off the pace, no question, but they're still just cheering you on, like good job, you made it. It's just awesome. It was so good. Well, it's very encouraging to us that, we can run at pace, we can run strong. But the reality is that's off-road racing. The what-ifs don't count. You get encouraged by things that happen, but everybody has problems. You've got to have good luck on your side, and you've got to take care of your truck. People want to be frustrated. I want to be mad. But there's no one to get mad at. It turns out it's a 25-cent O-ring that goes out on a bypass valve. It's just racing. So we get everything loaded up. We got guys, yourself included, that have to drive from San Felipe to Bozeman, Montana. We don't have jets sitting at the runway. we don't have people to do this for us. We're the people. And Rick, he had thought about it, obviously, for the 24 hours in advance, and he had a list of things, and we sat down, and then I just pressed the pause button. I was like, so this is all the things we will do if we're going to go race the 500, but I just don't know. I gotta go back to work myself and, you know, think about the time and the energy and everything else we put into this race and the highs and the lows. And 2, 3, 4 days go by and I call Rick and he's like, "What's up?" I said, "Well, let's go race the 500.